You know, from now on, I think we should let Bethesda do all of our remasters, because honestly, this game proves that they are right for that kind of job. Yo, what is up guys, this is Tyrannic Swine here, and yes, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and mainly because of technical issues and stuff like that, but welcome to another game review, and this time, despite how late it's been for this game, I'm reviewing Doom. Now, this game is amazing. Made by Bethesda Studios, I think this is possibly one of the best games that's come out so far during 2016. And really, there's a lot to be said about this game. Now, you play as the Doom guy, and basically your objective is to stop a demon army from invading Mars. Now, that is pretty much the entire concept of the story. Now, this is one of those games that doesn't really need a very complex and storytelling plot. And all you're doing is just running around, killing as many enemies as you can, and then you can proceed to the next area. And honestly, it works for this game, because this game brings back the nostalgicness of the old 90s and early 2000s first-person shooters. Well, all there was no story, but all you were doing was running around, kill enemies with as many weapons as you had available to you, and just not dying. And that's what I loved about this game, because it recaptures that moment, but it also brings in a more modern touch to it. I really love what they did to this game. It made it feel all dark and dirty, to give you that kind of feeling like things aren't as good as they seem. This isn't going to be one of those happy chappy type games. This is one of those time to beat some shit up kind of games, and that's what I love. The level designs is also really good. I like how in between your shooting moments there can be some platforming around, so that kind of brings back more of the nostalgicness, a bit like Unravel did earlier this year. And so yeah, I really love the way the style of the game looked, like the way the weapons looked, the way the enemies looked too. It looks really amazing, does this game. But it's probably not the most best looking game that there is out there, but it's definitely this is definitely one of those good looking games, that's for damn sure. So yeah, I love, pretty much, even though there is no story, or a compelling story, it was actually pretty decent, to be honest, I must say. I mean, even though there's a very few amount of characters, there's only 3 major characters really in this game, including the Doom guy himself. But honestly, it really does not matter, and this is one of those games where you can get away with not needing a compelling story. And after playing throughout the entire campaign and the other game modes, I think this game has done that very well. Now, let's talk about the mechanics of the game. Now, despite this game has that retro feel, it brings the retroness into the modern era. That's what I really like about it. All the weapons in the game work very nice and effectively against the enemy. Like, different enemies will show up throughout the game, and you need to pick a certain type of weapon that works better against them. And I think that is really cool. Now, also the fact to do with the weapons is there's at least two types of weapons that you'll find in the game that have the same ammo type, like for example the assault rifle and the chain gun, or the plasma rifle and the Gauss cannon. Not only that, there is collectibles throughout the game too, and this game is actually got a lot of collectibles in it, ranging from weapon drones and from weapon drones, which give you weapon modifications, about 2 for each kind of weapon, apart from the classic shotgun, which doesn't need any whatsoever because it's so overpowered, which is because that's how amazing the gun is. And there's also chests or something, I've forgotten the name, to find, which give you upgrades for your armor too. Like, it will reveal more things around the map, make you stronger against the enemy, gives you more able to carry more ammo and grenades and all those other kind of things too. And these are very useful, in fact, if you want to stay alive. There's even rune trials too. little challenges throughout the games which give you an ability where, like for example, if you execute an enemy, you can get more ammo from them, or if you execute an enemy, you can also get armor from them too. The health mechanics in this game is like the old ways too. It's like no rechargeable health whatsoever. You have to either find health packs or kill enemies so you can gain health. And there's also armor too in the game for extra protection. Now not only that, throughout the game you will find scattered armor abilities too, like quad damage, which gives you twice as much damage, berserk, where you can go all out one-hit melee kills, invulnerability, and speed boost. And these are placed very nice around the maps. Though the thing is, I never tended to get to them because mainly I spot them after the big fights are over, which can be quite annoying, but mainly that's a mistake on my part. Now, like before with the collectibles, this game is notorious for having a lot of them. There is Doom Guy figures, which will give you, when you collect them, you can see an image of like enemies and even the Doom Guy himself or characters within the game when you look into in the main menu. Not only that, there's even levers around the area which will unlock classic maps from Doom 1 and 2, which is also a nice convenient surprise too. So yeah, the way of the game, the mechanics of the game is really quite well, and it's quite expansive too. Like from modifying your weapons, your armor. The thing is, this game relies a lot on the collectibles, and I think that was a very good thing, because a lot of games these days don't usually use collectibles effectively. They're just mainly something you have to find and then that's it, and it can be very unrewarding most of the time. Doom though makes the collectibles very, very rewardable, in fact, and it's a main strong point of the game, and I really like how they've done that. Now, let's talk about the enemies in this game. Now, there is a nice wide diversity of enemy types in this game. You got the light infantry types, the sort of special enemy types, and then you have the heavy semi-boss type enemies. Now, the more you go through this game, the more and more it increases with the heavier and more deadly enemy types, which is why the weapon modifications and armor upgrades and even the runes are also very necessary to get, because it will definitely help you out in the final levels of the game, since it gets quite difficult, especially when you start running out of ammo. Now, usually most games that throw more and more enemies at you usually kind of get it wrong, but this game, I like how it gets that right. It has the right amount of enemies in the room for you to fight against. Now, when you almost kill an enemy, they go into a sort of freeze stage, which allows you the opportunity to nicely execute the enemy. And I will say this is definitely necessary for when you are low on health, because executing the enemies can actually give you health, especially when you're low on it. And if you have got a specific rune, executing them can also give you armor as well. So executing enemies is a very major thing to do in this game, and I propose you would do it when you're fighting them. Never ignore an enemy when they're in their free execution stage. Now, this is one of those games, like in the old days, again, where cover is completely pointless. You have to run and gun. You have to kill as many enemies as you can in the room without them getting anywhere close to you. Otherwise, that's a very bad situation for you. And the enemy, it also doesn't help either that the enemy is continuously charging at you, and that's what makes this game a nice challenge to be up against the enemies, because since it's a run and gun, they're continuously chasing you, and if they're not, they will just fire you with projectiles, making it even more annoying. So yeah, they did the enemies very nicely in this game. Though there's only one little concern, is that every time I try to melee some of the enemies, I tend to miss quite often. I don't know if that's a glitch or a bug in the game, or just the mechanics a bit iffy with the melee. But other than that, I'd say the fighting mechanics, or how you fight the enemies, is practically spot on. Now, I have to talk about the boss battles in this game. For once, this game has good boss battles. A lot of games that have come out recently don't seem to understand the concept of a good boss battle. Like for example, Quantum Break, which just felt forced in there. This actually has good boss battles, and a lot like the old boss battles from the 90s and early 2000s, is basically you have to avoid its attacks as much as possible and just spray it with as much bullets as you can. And I really like those old type of boss battles where you just shoot at them no matter how many times, no matter how many bullets you have until they die. And what I like about this game too with its boss battles is that each of them is quite unique. Basically the first one is attacking it from range is a very good thing, and obviously one that attacks. The second one is a bit more complex. Once you've defeated it, it ends up splitting in two and you have to fight it again, but this time it has a friend with it, which I really liked and offered a lot more challenge again. And then there's the final boss, which even has its own unique attacks, and it's like you have to be very smart when you are trying to defeat it. So yeah, the boss battles were done extremely well in this game, and I really like that Bethesda took note of the boss battles in this game when they came to developing it, because a game, when it has boss battles, really needs to be fun, challenging, and overall just good. Like, the enemies can be tough to fight, and they've definitely accomplished that with this game. Now, there's a few other things, like there is these the map. Yes, the map design is pretty cool too, with its three-dimensional type look. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And it really looks really cool. And if you find these auto maps throughout the level, you'll be able to see the map entirely and where all the other collectibles are. Now, I like that little bit that's been added in for players that aren't notoriously patient when it comes to exploring, because exploration is very key to this game too when you're finding the collectibles. It's like you have to look everywhere you can to make sure you find what you're looking for. There's also challenges too throughout the game. Now, these aren't mostly necessary. It's like they are nice for when you need them to get armor points or points for your armor upgrades and stuff like that, and for your weapons too. But you don't need to finish all of the challenges, because by the time you finish the game, you'll be able to well, if you explore enough, you will have unlocked everything. So the challenges is just there as challenges. It's not necessary, but kind of necessary at the same time. Now, Doom has a multiplayer section, and what I like about this is it feels a lot like the old classic multiplayer type first-person shooters like Quake, where you just running around killing people no matter what. It's like, it's not really, it's basically finding the best weapons or the best strategy or stuff like that, because most first-person shooters these days rely mainly on their game modes, I think, or just spray and pray. Doom is where you need to attack your opponents at certain points, like from behind or by surprise, and then you'll be able to kill them efficiently. Because Doom's multiplayer is actually pretty damn fun, and not only can you play as like your own customized Doom guy, the customization, I'll say, is a bit disappointing. It's like there is a good amount of armor, but there's like 3 of each type, and each type isn't really that much different. But other than that, the multiplayer is actually okay. The map designs are really nice and inventive. It's like there's many different spots you can crawl through and stuff like that. Surprise your enemies. You can even become a demon if you want to at some point, if you can unlock or find the key to becoming one. And there's also a good amount of game modes too, like your usual team deathmatch, capture the flag, your usual game modes, as well as also a few extra ones as well. So yeah, the multiplayer was done particularly quite well, and there is even another mode called Snap Map, where you can even create your own maps. Now, this is a lot like Halo. It's a lot like Halo's Forge and Far Cry's Forge mode too, but it's more going towards Far Cry's Forge type mode. Because unlike Halo's Forge, you can actually implement enemy AIs into your map, a lot like Far Cry's, which has always been Halo Forge's disadvantage for me really, because it would be nice to have enemy AI, and luckily Doom has done that as well. So yeah, overall the multiplayer and even the snap map are pretty well done, I must say, apart from a few nitpicks. Overall, I'd say it's been done particularly quite well, and it is actually really fun as well. There's also quite a lot of customization on your guns too. You can make them look dirty or anything, you can show scratches, war-torn and stuff like that. I really did like the amount of customization for your guns, though the armor could have been done a little bit better, like I said before. So, overall, I'd say Doom is a spectacularly done game. And it's probably the best remaster I've seen out there. This is a really fun game, and if you're a fan of the Doom franchise, this is definitely a game you should pick up. So I'm gonna give this game a 10 out of 10. So, that is my review of Doom, a spectacularly done remaster, or reboot should I say, that could end up having a sequel, and if it does, I will be glad for that day when it arrives. Yeah, this is a spectacular, and I hope you guys, if you do pick up this game in the future, should play it really, and it is an amazing feel of a game. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Comment down below of what you think of the game. See if you can tell me if there's been other things I've missed out, or what else it could be, if there is anything bad about this game, and what else it could be good about this game. Leave a like, subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next random video.